I'm Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson, here in the AARP Foundation Fraud Fighter Call Center. Every day, these volunteers hear stories of con artists ripping off older Washingtonians. We're here to put a stop to that. In this video, you'll learn the secrets of con artists, how they use sophisticated persuasion tactics to get your cash. With this knowledge, you'll be able to defend yourself against these criminals and protect your hard-earned money. And we hope you'll share what you've learned with your friends and family. Thank you for watching.
Con artists. Millions of Americans are ripped off by these hucksters to the tune of nearly $4 billion a year. We decided to find out how con artists swindle their victims and why people are persuaded by them. We talked to experts and we went behind jailhouse walls to talk to the con artists themselves. We learned the con artist's secret weapon, and now, once you know it, you can avoid being scammed by being put under the ether.
These are dangerous people you are on the phone with, okay? Make no bones about it. I am a dangerous person on the telephone.
This is money that you don't have to pay back. This is free money.
Con artists can be clever,
charming, skilled, prolific with the English language. Take your hand off your pocketbook and open up your mind.
They can be brutal.
It's heartbreaking. It's hard for me to live with myself knowing what I've done to my family.
They know every button to push.
He would call every 20 minutes. His granddad got the money sent.
Every scam is different, but the trap is the same.
The crush or the kill is emotionally driven. It's not logic. If you apply logic to this concept, it's no. I'm not going to send you my hard-earned money.
We can get swept away by impulsive, emotional choices and arousal that is injected into the situation.
Dr. Robert Cialdini, professor of psychology and best-selling author, unlocks the secrets of persuasion in his book, Influence. According to Cialdini, if you're aware of how con artists use persuasive tactics to get you emotionally aroused, you're less likely to be a scam victim.
If you can see something coming from you from a distance, and you can undertake a refusal response, one that you've thought through, then you're going to be much more willing to say no.
Many people think they're too smart to be burned, that they can see the scam coming. But it turns out that regardless of education or social status, anyone can be tricked.
It's the people who think that they can handle these kinds of things who turn out to be most vulnerable.
And being vulnerable means you can be persuaded.
In the heat of the moment, when we're not thinking so well, we can get swept up.
No matter what the scam is, that unattainable jackpot, finding romance, or that gushing oil well, the con artist's central strategy is to get the victim emotionally excited or under the ether.
I wanted to keep you under the ether, and I knew that one day you were going to come out from under the ether, and so I would want to try to load you too soon and too often.
When you are a very good, decent person, you can't imagine that somebody else would be so crooked and so morally bankrupt as to take advantage of you the way these people will.
As an assistant U.S. attorney, Ellen Lindsay meets many victims who were put under the ether.
What we are seeing very much are the relative in distress, the work-at-home scams, romance scams, and sweepstakes, always sweepstakes.
The relative in distress is also known as the Grandparent Scam. This scam is sweeping the nation and costing seniors millions of dollars.
The first thing the senior citizens need to do to avoid the grandparent scam is just to know that it exists. So if they receive a call from somebody purporting to be their grandchild saying that they're in trouble in a foreign country, immediately a bell should ring, a warning bell should ring in their head going, oh, this could be the grandparent scam.
Grandparents are very protective, and right away they'll do anything.
This con man, we'll call him Peter, knows what he's talking about. Ellen Lindsay prosecuted him for fraud, and he's now behind bars. To talk with us, he asked us to hide his identity. Peter bilked thousands of dollars from grandparents by tricking them into believing their loved one needed emergency financial help. He knew how to get his victims under the ether and into a heightened emotional state when they believed it was their grandchild calling. He didn't even need to know the grandchild's name.
You just call and you say, "Hey, Grandma, how are you?" And then usually they'll be like, "Oh, is this John?" Or they'll give you a name.
Isn't it a beautiful day out today?
Yeah.
Meet two of our con man's victims, Donald and Olame Nicholas.
Hello.
Donald took the call he thought was from his grandson, Jeff. The first thing he heard was,
"Grandpa, I had an accident."
A phony accident or arrest is usually how the scam begins. Then the con artist attempts to isolate the victim.
And you develop that secret. I'm in a bit of trouble, just keep it between us.
He called us because he didn't want his wife or his parents to know about it.
Just keep it between us. Can I trust you? I need someone to help me in this situation. And I thought you'd be the best. And you flatter them.
At this point, you might be thinking, I would know my grandchild's voice. The scammer has an answer.
And then you say, I was here on vacation, everything was fine, and then I got into an accident.
"Jeff, this don't sound like you. What's the matter?"
If they say it doesn't sound like you, you can say, "Well, in the accident, I hit my nose or something," and, maybe you can always make up something. I'm under the weather.
And he says, "I broke my nose in an accident, and I got picked up, and so I've got to have some money so I can get out of jail."
Convinced he's the only one who can rescue his grandson, Donald wired about $3,000 to bail him out.
You put them on a mission to bring you home. And it just triggers something psychologically in seniors.
The con artists who run the grandparent scam use urgency and fear to manipulate victims into a heightened emotional state.
It's grandkids. You do anything for them.
3 days after the money was sent, they called their grandson. He had never left home.
The majority of times we see that one phone call could have confirmed that the grandchild was safe and sound at home.
When somebody's telling you you have to make your decision now, or you have to make your decision alone without talking to anybody else, use those kinds of features of their appeal as a signal to step away.
Here's a plate.
Like so many retirees, Dorothy and her husband worked hard and saved all of their lives. But health care bills had recently caused them financial hardship. So when Dorothy got a call saying their luck had changed and she was a winner, she got excited.
It makes elderly people think that they have won something. They could be so much ahead and they're going to help people.
The caller told Dorothy she'd won $8 million in the Jamaican lottery.
One of the reasons that people might fall for something like the Jamaican lottery is that they're told that they've gotten something, they've gotten an amount of money, and if they don't act, they will lose it.
Seniors have lost millions of dollars to phony foreign lottery frauds. The scammer convinced Dorothy in order to get the money, she had to send money to cover handling fees and taxes. By calling her constantly, the con kept her under the ether.
Keeping them under the ether means that you have taken control of the conversation and the person to make sure that they're going to follow through with sending the money.
The relentless phone calls now turned into threatening phone calls.
They are nothing less than lethal on that telephone, and they make a living. And a lot of times a good living, and are able to skirt around the laws. Now, a lot of them have no conscience at all and can get deep into your psyche.
Dorothy lost $30,000 and much more.
If I go back in time and had the first phone call, and the minute he said that I won $8 point some million, I'd say keep it.
It's heartbreaking. And anytime I think a senior citizen is scammed, it eats away at their self-esteem, their sense of independence, their sense of ability to take care of themselves. And they feel stupid. They beat themselves up for it, which is a terrible thing, because the fact of the matter is that the people taking money from them, this is their profession, this is their career, and they're extremely good at it.
The only thing I ended up with was heartache, a husband that didn't trust me, and receipts.
What's the best way to avoid losing your money while under the ether? Well, remember our scammed grandparents, Donald and Olame? They still get regular calls from con artists posing as grandchildren, but now they are prepared with a refusal script.
I get a call, the telephone rings, and I reach over and pick it up, and he says, Grandpa, I'm down in Peru to a friend's wedding, and I've been in an accident. I got a broken nose. I need some money. And I says, how much you want this time? And it goes click.
Not only do they have a refusal script, but they reported the scam, and they tell other people. They have become fraud fighters.
We've told everybody. Anybody that would listen, we would tell them about being scammed. Sure, it kind of hurts. You haven't telling you've been scammed, but you can't let it hurt you. You have to go on and you have to let other people know.
Remember, if you can see a scam coming, you can prepare and protect yourself. Money and emotion can be a recipe for disaster, and con artists know it. They're experts at using ether, the heightened emotional state, to rob you blind.
It's all about control. He who controls the conversation. If you find somebody on the telephone being too controlling, asking too many probing questions, being too charming, click.
There's no money out there. I'm not going to get no prize. My pipe dream of helping my family, I've destroyed them. I didn't help them.
When you experience that emotional, that visceral arousal, stop yourself. That's your signal. Don't make a decision under those circumstances.
AARP is working to empower you with the best defense of all, awareness. That's why we've developed the Fraud Watch Network, an online resource to fight fraud at www.aarp.org/Fraud Watch Network. On the website, you'll find the latest information on current scams and the tools you'll need to fight back against fraud. You can register to receive up-to-the-minute updates from the Fraud Watch Network to protect yourself and your loved ones from being taken. Visit aarp.org/Fraud Watch Network and sign up today. Finally, after viewing this video, share your knowledge with family and friends. Together, we can all be fraud fighters.